Friend, and I had myself muted. All right, guys. Sorry about that. Everyone was complaining that I was buffering, so I had to fix that. I hope I am no longer buffering. I want to check how I look on this new one so that hopefully it's not like the old one. But you can let me know in the what's it called, in the live chat. I hope I am not buffering. I hope my buffering days are over. I hope my buffering days are over. All right. I am hearing that the connection is much better. Alhamdulillah. I'm hearing that the connection is much better. Please use a keyframe frequency for 4 seconds or less. Currently, keyframe are not being sent often enough. Sorry, I'm reading a message that popped up. I'm reading a message that popped up and I'm trying to understand what it's saying because I don't understand it. So I had to take a moment to kind of digest what I'm reading because I can't do that while I'm responding to you guys. Anyway, so I believe that this is going to be a lot better. I believe this is going to be an interesting live stream for all of us. All right, where was I? Where was I before I was rudely interrupted by you guys talking about buffering? Happy Mark, thank you for always being here. Please smash the like button. Smash the like button. Smash the like button. Let everyone know that we are live and that we have, interesting things to talk about. Please do smash the like button. Meanwhile, there's something I want to check over here to see if it has become possible. Let's see. I kind of updated my Streamlabs, so I want to see if they've. There was an option to update it, so I want to see if there is this. No, it is not here. It has not been added. Okay, I didn't see everything. Okay. Sorry, guys. I'm just trying to read some things while we are live. This is kind of amateurish, but bear with me. There is this stuff, right, that my Streamlab does not have. I had that it's only available for Streamlab on iOS, not Streamlabs on Windows. And my system is like a Windows computer. I'm using a PC, not an Apple system. So there's this option that is only available for. There's this option that is only available for like iOS users, and that is chat highlighter on my Streamlabs. I don't have that, so I usually use a plugin to kind of highlight my chat. So when I did this recent, when I did the recent, because before I went live, I kind of you have to open Streamlabs and know what's going on and kind of refamiliarize yourself again with the application and everything. So I had to update it. And now that I'm using it, I'm seeing that this updated Streamlabs is kind of looking different, right? It's looking a bit different from what what I'm used to, right? So the thought came to my mind while I was doing the first live stream. Let me know if the chat highlighter, because it was promised that maybe on the next update or the next couple of updates, we are going to finally get the chat highlighter we're finally going to get the chat highlighter for PC, but I don't think it is available. I'm looking at it now, but we don't have that for PC. We have tip goals, subscription goals, tip sticker, the jar, the viewer count, the stream boss, the credits, the spin wheel, the sponsor banner. I mean, the spin wheel. Must everything always be like gambling? I don't understand. Anyway, the spin wheel, the sponsor banner, the media share, the member goal, the star goals, but we don't have the chat highlighter. That's kind of unfortunate. Anyway, just giving you guys a making you guys understand what I'm looking at on the back end over here. Anyways, let's continue with what we were talking about before the whole buffering started. So I was talking about the controversy between Megyn Kelly and Congressman Randy Fine. And it's not by extension Megyn Kelly versus the pro-Israel content creators on Twitter. So there's this feud that is where there is a long-standing feud, and there's what it is spiraling into that is really unfortunate. Okay, and I was saying earlier before I ended the first live stream that it is kind of unfortunate to see where Megyn Kelly has gone with this. And I know she always say, if you want me to do A, then I will not do it. I will go the other way. If you want me to do this, then I will go the other way. I will not do what the mob want me to do. And currently she views the pro-Israel crowd as the mob that are demanding her full allegiance and demanding that she does whatever. So she's like, this is my platform. You don't tell me what I have to say. I will say whatever I want to say. You don't control me. I am my own person and I am stubborn. And if you say I should do this, then I will not do it. I kind of get that. But I have always said that is kind of like a weakness. If you have that kind of mentality, it is a weakness, because what if the mob is right? And what if what the mob is telling you to do is what you are supposed to do? Or because you have this policy of, if the mob tells me to go left, I will go right. If the mob tells me to do something, I will not do it. What if there is a trailer coming and the mob is telling you to get out of the tracks? Are you going to say, you know what, the mob do not control me, and then you're going to stay there and get crushed? And it looks like that's kind of the route that Megyn Kelly is following, which is unfortunate. Hate to break it to people who are anti-mob, that sometimes the mob is right. Even a broken clock, okay, is right twice a day. How much more the mob, So, and in this case, it's quite unfortunate that for Megyn Kelly, the mob that she's trying to resist are people who are on the right side of the issue that is Israel. It's kind of unfortunate to see that is where it is at the moment we have. And unfortunately, everything becomes about that. Everything. Which is kind of unfortunate for Megyn Kelly, because everything, the mob that she's trying to resist, kind of drags her and make everything about Israel. It's of course, everybody knows me. I'm pro-Israel all day, every day. But because of her refusal to call out Candace Owens, it has made the pro-Israel crowd seize every opportunity to point out her hypocrisy. And she kind of makes it easy for them because she's a very hypocritical person. Very, very hypocritical. And it's like, it's just leading her into a very serious, difficult spiral for her as a journalist, as a right-wing political commentator and all whatnot. It kind of make her look like a flip-flopper. It kind of make her look like somebody who doesn't even have standards. And I wonder if she notices this. I really sometimes want to be charitable with Megyn Kelly. If you've watched my previous live stream, you'll see where I'm really, really, really tearing her apart. But that's not what I want to do here. I really want to put myself in her shoes and recognize that it's not easy to walk in her shoes. And she's kind of, honestly, she's kind of a very hypocritical person. Many of the truth is, many of the political commentators we have out there, whether it is Destiny, whether it is Ben Shapiro, whether it is Megyn Kelly, whether it is Tucker Carlson, they have this hint of hypocrisy with them. Many of them are hypocritical, okay? And it's kind of, I feel it's kind of bound to happen when you spend most of your time talking on the internet, that you're going to flip-flop on issues and not really give a good ground for why you are flip-flopping and why what is applicable for X is not applicable for Y. You sometimes it's really difficult to maintain your position and to be consistent. Now, there are many people who try to be consistent. I think Ben Shapiro tries to be consistent, Now, but at the end of the day, these political commentators and these political pundits and podcasters, they fall into two categories, though all of them are hypocritical, but you have two categories, right? You have the category of people who strive to be consistent but are often hypocritical, And then you have the category of people who don't even try. Like, they are the category of people who don't even try. Now, Megyn Kelly has been hypocritical, but at least she has put up the front of someone who is trying not to be, somebody who is trying to be consistent. But recently, it's like she has moved to the other camp where she's just doesn't even care about consistency, especially when it has to do with the Candace Owens situation. That is where you see her inconsistency, her like willfully being hypocritical. And of course, she will always blame it on the pro-Israel crowd. They made me do it. But, at one point, you have to take the blame. These people made me do it is only going to be an excuse for so long, And a good example is this. So you have Congressman Randy Fine saying, if they force us to choose, the choice between dogs and Muslims is not a difficult one. And then he also posted, he said, for context, this is the leader of one of the key mainstream Muslim groups that support Mamdani. And this is a tweet from Nadine Kiswani, who said, finally, NYC is coming to Islam. Dogs definitely have a place in society, just not as indoor pets. Like we've said all along, they are unclean. Now, of course, she's coming from the Islamic perspective. And this rhymes perfectly. Like what she's saying rhymes perfectly with what you find in the hadiths. Okay, you have hadiths where Muhammad was commanding the killing of dogs. You have hadiths where Muhammad said the only dogs that should not be killed, that's when people were carrying out the killing of dogs. He said, no, the only dogs that should be killed are the black dogs that have two white spots in their eyes. And they asked him why. He said, the black dog is a devil. Okay, that is what he said. That is Muhammad. And Muhammad also said that, Allah's angels or an angel will not enter into a house that has a dog in it or has an image in it. Also, you have another hadith where Muhammad said that somebody's prayer is severed by a dog, a woman, or a donkey. Okay, you have hadiths that say that any person who keeps a dog for any other reason other than for hunting and for herd control, anyone who keeps a dog for any reason other than this, that I think three. Let me get this. Let me be sure about this. Let me ask Islamic ruling on dogs, just so I am accurate and I say it very well. So let's go to Quran Q&A. So I hope they have. Okay, according to Islamic Sharia, it is not permissible to keep a dog except within narrowly defined limits. As the Prophet, peace be upon him, peace and blessings of Allah be upon him, explained, whoever keeps a dog, his good deeds will be reduced every day by 1 kirat. I hope I'm pronouncing this. That is a unit of measurement, unless it is a dog for farming or herding. According to another report, unless it is a dog for herding sheep, farming, or hunting. And you can find it in Sahih Bukhari. You can find it in Sahih Muslim as well. So keeping a dog is going to affect your reward in heaven. For every day you keep that dog, your reward is constantly being reduced. So when you have a Muslim who has a dog as a pet, they are affecting their hereafter by having dogs. This is what the Prophet of Allah said. This is what Muhammad said. So you have all these rulings, and this lady is repeating that. And then you have a news article from the Daily Mail that said famous Palestinian activists call for dogs to be banned as indoor pets in New York City because they are un-Islamic. And then he also posted this, don't tread on me with a dog, with the image of a dog. Right, so this is where all of this is coming from. This is why Randy Fine is saying, if we have to choose between, giving up Muslims or giving up dogs, the decision is pretty clear. We are going to go for the dogs, because we're not going to allow Muslims control. I think it's kind of clear what he's talking about. Of course, this created a stir on social media. You have every person on the left and their grandma coming out to condemn him and call him racist. I mean, you even have Piers Morgan coming and be like, you are a racist, you racist bigot. Of course, If not, if you don't get it from Piers Morgan, who else are you planning to get it from, right? But then someone interesting enough also commented and was like, this is evil and this is bad, and they were like against it. And that is Megyn Kelly. And she said, what the F is this? Now, of course, many people in the comments were trying to explain where this is coming from. He also trying to kind of, I'm responding to this. I'm responding to this from a key supporter behind Mamdani. Happy to come on to discuss. Other people are providing the context. Other people are saying, Randy, this is a very funny comment. Randy is a young father. How dare you attack him, Mega? Do you want him dead? Is that what this is? Of course, they are using the same response she used when she was responding to people telling her, why are you not calling out Candace Owens for all the horrible things that she has been saying and all the insinuations and innuendos that has become the hallmark of her show, essentially. Why are you not speaking out about it? She said, I don't want to join the dog pile. Candace Owens is a young mother and I don't want to add to her problems, essentially. So they're like, why then are you talking about Randy Fine? He's a young father as well. And it's kind of interesting when it has to do with Randy Fine, right? Come on, we have to recognize that. At the very least, we have to recognize that it is kind of different when it has to do with Randy Fine. Because people who are piling on Randy Fine right now are people on the left. And I remember Megyn Kelly saying that her issue is with the left. That is one. The people that are piling on this guy are people on, let's even say that they have a justification. It is important to note that the people that are piling on Randy Fine are people on the left. Right? That is one. Those are people that Megyn Kelly said that she has an issue with. Right? That is one. Second is that the issue that they are piling on him for is about Islam and Islamic views on dogs. That is what this is about. And this is the same woman that has made a career about talking about Islam and how Islam has no place in the West. That is Megyn Kelly. That has been her position. I mean, not too long ago, I think last week, she was on Piers Morgan Uncensored and they were having this conversation about the Super Bowl. And when Piers Morgan was being smug about the conversation and kind of trying to get Megyn Kelly into some kind of weird gotcha moment and being smug about the whole interview, Megyn said that your attitude is the problem with the UK, and that you people have allowed your culture to be eroded and your country to be run over by Muslim extremists, by Islamists, and they've taken over your country, they've eroded your culture. That was what she was saying. And the same thing that you are lashing out on Piers Morgan for is the same reason, but the opposite reason why you are lashing out on Congressman Randy Fine. It's like, where is the consistency here? Now, is it because he is Jewish? At this point, that becomes the question. Are you going after him because he is Jewish? What exactly will make you... And it's one of those things that really made me... Like when I was seeing this whole issue with Megyn Kelly and Randy Fine, it's one of the things that made me question, where were those people who were making a fuss about calling out people on the right? There were people who made a big deal out of it. Oh, you should not, calling out people on the right, especially when it is the left that is calling them out, especially when it is leftist, people on the left, people who want you dead. Remember that? Remember there was somebody like that who was making a big deal out of this. They were all quiet when Megyn Kelly was going after Randy Fine. It's beginning to look like the only time people have an issue with calling out people on the right is when the issue being talked about has to do with Israel or has to do with Jews. I'm not saying this is being done intentionally, but this is beginning to be maybe it's an unconscious pattern that is forming out. I don't know. I don't know what this is, but that is what it's beginning to look like. Because it feels like Megyn Kelly would have been on the same side as Randy Fines if Randy Fines was not... I say Randy Fine. Randy Fines. He would have been on the same side as Randy Fine if Randy Fine was not on that side. Like, she would have been on the anti-Nadine's comment if he wasn't Randy Fine making the comment. I don't know if you understand what I'm saying. Like... It's like you want to be on this side, and then you came on this side, and then you saw somebody you did not like, and because you don't like the person, you are like, you know what, I'm going to be on the other side, which is kind of not what you are supposed to do as somebody who has principles, as somebody who has standards. That's kind of like the whole shtick of Candace Owens. I'm opposed those who are opposed, who oppose me. I oppose those who oppose me. That's kind of Candace Owens' shtick. That's like she's going to oppose anybody who does not support her, or anybody who does not come out in favor of her, or anybody who even dares to go from, I'm not going to talk about this person, to I'm going to criticize this person. Any person who criticizes her, they are in her black book, and she's going to go all out against them. And that is kind of like, has become the same tactic that I see with Megyn Kelly. That is why I feel like she has gone from, oh, I accidentally sometimes give hypocritical takes, and I'm striving towards consistency, to I don't even care anymore. I will be a hypocrite as long as I am going after somebody I don't like, or I'm going against people I don't like. Right? And what this, like spiraled into is kind of fascinating to watch. So you have Insurrection Barbie saying, funny, she had zero to say when Candice told her audience Jews drink the blood of Christian children. Erica trafficked them. Jews are pedos who run the world. I could literally go on and on for hours. Hypocrisy isn't as tolerated in the right as on the left. They get away with double standard because they have none. And I guess she's talking about Megyn Kelly and the obvious double standard here. I mean, the double standard of going after Randy Fine and not going after Candace Owens is one. The double standard of it being about Islam, which is something that she also has spent her entire career and is going to continue to spend her entire career speaking up against how Islam is not compatible with the West. She's also going to continue doing that. That is the issue that you are. That is the issue that you are not. That is why you are going against Randy Fine when he's making a comment that you would otherwise have agreed with if he was probably not coming. If the issue was that it was coming from someone else. I don't know if you understand. Like if it was Matt Walsh who made this comment, and you cannot put this comment past a person like Matt Walsh, would Megyn Kelly would this have been her response? I don't think so. I don't think that would have been her response. So that's kind of why I find this interesting. And I think Insurrection Barbie is making a very good point here. And many people, we are like, calling it out. Like this person say, I legitimately don't understand the amount of emotional rage you target at me. Oh, sorry, this is not the person this is not the kind of tweet I want to point out. But yeah, you have tweets like this, okay? What's that one I was reading? You have tweets like that where somebody's like, I legitimately don't understand the amount of emotional rage you target at Megyn. Why Megyn, who is staying quiet, and not Ben Shapiro of Dave Rubin, who took dollars to further the lie? I don't even know. Of course, this is this person is always going to have free thinker on their profile. Like their profile name is going to be free thinker. It's kind of interesting where somebody is repeating like what the herd is saying, and it's like, yeah, I'm a free thinker. I am thinking freely. Interesting that you are thinking freely and you are sounding like everyone else. Of course. And then you have this person who is posting this fake doxing attempt by this lady that calls herself Genes Girl 1994. Okay, and then you have people like Paul, who said the hypocrisy is getting more ridiculous. Sometimes I almost think it's intentional to keep people talking. What else? Anyways, Megyn replied. Megyn quote tweeted Insurrection Barbie, and she's like, "This you?" And then she posted this. And this is where, like, as the conversation continues, you're going to see how this hypocrisy is going to continue to unfold. And how it's not just hypocrisy, but the inability to attack people or to comment on people based on the arguments that they are putting forth or based on the accusations they are levying against you. Someone is calling me a hypocrite, and someone is saying I'm being hypocritical. Let me address the claim of hypocrisy. No, she's not even going to address that. Instead, she's going to make personal attacks and try to attack the person personally. That is kind of like her go-to. And when you think about it, it's kind of interesting when you think deep about it, right? Like when Megyn was responding to Pierce. Now, granted, Pierce was being very smug and Pierce Morgan is a very ridiculous human being. It goes without saying, right? And Pierce Morgan asked Megyn Kelly, what is the official language of the United States? Now, Megyn Kelly said English, but it is not official. It is kind of whatever it is. And then Pierce was kind of making fun of her because of that, or kind of doing the aha, got you smile, that kind of thing. And instead of Megyn kind of responding by saying, look, there are many ways Megyn could have responded to that. Like, there are many ways she could have responded to Pierce's smugness. But what she resorted to was to attack the UK and to attack his behavior and link his behavior to why the UK is on the decline. Now, her attack is kind of legitimate. Like, it is true. It is not a fake attack. But it has nothing to do with the issue that was being discussed, which was the Super Bowl, which was the Super Bowl being performed in Spanish. That was kind of like the